Today we're sharing about being a light worker and having this call to spread the light. And also, one more announcement, we do have a call for ministers. So if you have this call to spread the light and to be of service to God and humanity, we have opportunities to help through the Spirit of the Lotus share and spread the light and to do this work. So today we're going to be talking about, if you have this call and this passion to do this, what are some of the things that can come up that are distractions? And so there's a lot that goes into this. Some of the topic that we've been talking about recently is about judgment. And judgment plays a huge role in this. Judgment is like a cloud of smoke that blurs our vision. When we are in our ability to move forward, it really is like an entity or a dark cloud. And it's not just in one person, this is something that has been taught about for thousands of years, to judge, to not judge. And humanity is very caught up in judgment. And this creates a huge distraction from us being able to do our spiritual work and answer the call. So we judge ourselves and we judge others, and we even judge God. We compare. Comparing is judging. What would God want me to do, or what would God do, or God wouldn't want me to do this, or what will other people think of me if I do this, or I did that, what do people think of me? What else? Things like that's not right, or that is what I have to do. This is how I have to act. All of these things are based in judgment. And this is something that needs to be, and we do it we start here with the clearing. We have to start here. So we have to say, where are we being judgmental? And what this is doing is creating this murky waters in this channel of God's will. This murky waters of us imposing our will. And a lot of this also has to do with control and fear. Because where does this need to control come from? It comes from fear. Fear of being out of control, fear of success, fear of messing up, fear of, death, dying. All these fears come in and start to create this gripping nature of control, which is judgment. And all it's doing is disrupting and murkying up murkying up the channel of God's will and God's light. So this takes discernment, and this is one of the not tricky, because it's not tricky. It's not God trying to trick us, or it's a lot with the mind. The mind gets so overzealous, and it starts, trying to figure things out. So if we can start to recognize when these things are happening, and it is subconscious, we may not even realize if we're having an emotion or a thought pattern that's blocking the channel. And we don't want to say blocking, because it's a process, and it's not just blocked, it's like a cloudy day, it's when you're looking up at the stars and the clouds come and block the stars, but you still know the stars are there, and you saw them, you know where they are, and you know that it's coming back. So it's nothing to, that's the other part about it, the judgment, is beat ourselves up over if we realize that we're having these this murkiness. And this is also related to, the lotus, like going through the murky water and to keep climbing and keep going, but not to judge ourselves if we're doing the right thing, if we're doing the wrong thing. It's time to let go of the control and the judgment, and it's stepping into the path, into the channel, and realizing that it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be such a struggle, and it is we're human, and we're experiencing this beautiful human life, which is all over the place. Even hard, easy is a judgment. So it's to realize, like, okay, this is happening, and we can reflect, and we can say, okay, what came into play to create this situation? We are human, and these beings that come into this planet, that are incarnated here, artists, musicians, spiritual teachers, writers, all of these beings, scientists, they were incarnated into this planet, and they struggle. We all have these like little internal struggles, but at the same time, people will be judged by other people. They've been judged. Some of these artists, we're an art teacher, so it's like we learn about artists' lives, and they were so judged, and they judged themselves, and they judged others, and they left legacies of beauty on the planet. They were not quote unquote perfect, there's no being that came in and was like not judged by others, and didn't struggle, have internal struggles. This is part of the path. And so it's our job as light workers. We can realize when this is happening to us. And Reverend Tara taught us so much, like in the beginning, pick yourself up and keep going. It's not, and it's okay to rest, and don't judge it, but it's also to use discernment too in finding the joy in your life, and trusting God that if this brings you joy and your heart sings, and people say, oh, that's ugly, or oh, you're blasphemy, or oh, you're that's not spiritual, to trust God, to do your practices and to have that channel open. And it doesn't mean that we just stop and stop that work within, because this is where the work is. This is the beauty. This is the treasure. We're the treasure. We're the treasure. We're the lotus unfolding. So we allow that, we have this beautiful experience, and we use discernment to move forward with joy and to let go of judgment, fear, all the different fears that hold us back and that bring in this controlling mental state that prevents us. It's like obstacles on the path. Like if you want to write or paint, and there's always like a little thing that's like, no, like, not yet, or whatever your purpose is, whatever that voice inside of you is telling you, try this. And these little blocks, this cloudy, murky water, and we're working so hard. Let it go. Let go of the hard work and be love. This is our greatest calling, to be love. And just every time those things come up with the judgment, just love it. And love yourself. If you start getting that some weird, unusual, and it's probably not unusual, it's probably been going on, some feeling or some thought pattern, just sit with it and just love it for what it is and let it be. And allow it to teach us and show us so that we can serve God. And also another part of this calling that we know a lot of light workers struggle with is patience. And it's not to stop working. It's not to stop working, and it's not to give up. But it's to realize, hey, I'm doing the best I can, and I am making steps, and that even that's a judgment. So even stop that and just love the process unfolding. Say a prayer for humanity. Do your practices. Serve God. Whenever these times come, it's like you don't have to go out and solve somebody else's problems. It's right here, and it's a vibration. Everything is light and energy. We are light workers. We're working with light and energy. We are generators of light and love and energy. And we have this beautiful opportunity to clear away all these distractions, all this fear, doubt, and just kind of like don't worry about it, and just trust God and take those steps in joy. Take those steps in love and joy of serving God. And don't, say, well, that makes me a bad person if I do that. God wouldn't want me to do that. If it makes you a bad person for yourself, then maybe that's true. Maybe that, well, you're co-creating with God. But if it's really something that's done with that joy and love, and you're not harming others, because that's the other thing, is harmless, to be harmless, harmlessness, to not, that you're not purposefully going out and harming others. God works in mysterious ways. There was a thing on Facebook about the nativity scene, and it was an empty nativity scene, and it said, it had the animals still, and it said, this is, this is what the nativity would look like with no Jews, Arabs, Africans, or refugees. And we're so judgmental about who's doing what and who's playing what role and who's creating what. And really, first of all, it's not really any of our business, because we should be focused here on what we're creating. Secondly, it's like we have no clue God's plan and how God's working in this world, in this universe. But we do know that everything is light and energy, and we here believe in love. That God is love. And love is the most powerful force. So during this time, do the gratitude practices, the gratefulness for all the good that we have and who we are, and that we have these gifts. Spread the light, be the light, be love, trust God. It's okay if we make a mistake. Making mistakes is part of the experience. And to not do something out of fear of making a mistake is holding back that light. We have to be okay with making a mistake and trusting God. And who knows, it might not be a mistake, and it probably isn't, because everything is in God's hands. And we're being led. And we're all different rays of light and experience, where everything is God on this planet, in this universe. We're all expressing, co-creating with the divine source of creation. It's so immense. It's beyond words. And it's beautiful. So God bless you. And we just had